What is going on, college basketball fans? Welcome back to another live stream. This is going to be our first true episode of Talking College Hoops podcast, and we are going to do this every single Thursday live on stream. So if you guys are watching this as a video later, make sure you guys tune in next Thursday around 10 p.m. to join us live. You can join in on the conversation, whether it's in the chat, asking me questions, talking about whatever topics we have going on throughout college basketball, or you can even click the link in the chat and call in and talk to me on stream. So, yeah, we got a lot of stuff to get into. I will say the NBA Finals are on as I am streaming this podcast. So I am going to be watching those. Watching that while we talk some college hoops. So you guys will get my live reaction to Game 6 of the NBA Finals, along with me talking about it here and there probably. But yeah, how's everybody doing today? We'll get some people in here. A lot of big topics to talk about, actually. It was actually a pretty big week in college basketball as far as stuff going down. The new Big 12. It's been announced here for a while now. BYU, Cincinnati, Central Florida, and Houston will be joining the Big 12 officially next summer, next offseason, July 1st, 2023. So by next season, the new Big 12 will be here. And that, for basketball purposes, my goodness, the Big 12 is already, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinions, the best conference in college basketball. But now we're getting Houston, which that in itself is they're going to be one of the best teams in the country next year. So to get Houston in the Big 12 as well, that is a big step up. Cincinnati, historically very good at basketball. They are always in the mix. I think joining the Big 12 is only going to help them as far as recruiting and just being a more consistently good basketball team. UCF, sometimes they have some good basketball teams. I think that's more better for football reasons. UCF is really good at football, but basketball, they're pretty good too. And then BYU, another great program to join the Big 12 as well. So they will be officially joining the Big 12 on July 1st, 2023. Yo, what's up, GeoPet? How you doing, man? Some other news. I want to talk about where Pete Nance is going to go. He's probably the biggest transfer up on the board that's still available, and it looks like he's down to his final three, and that is Michigan, Illinois, and North Carolina. And from what I've seen, he is visiting North Carolina this weekend, and I think he's also set to visit Michigan soon, but I have not seen anything about visits on Illinois. Maybe he already did, maybe he's going to, but I couldn't find that anywhere. I only saw visits to North Carolina and Michigan. If I had to predict where Pete Nance was going to go right now, I'd say North Carolina. It does make a lot of sense. I know that they do have Johnson there that could play power forward and step in and be pretty good at it. And they're bringing back their other four starters, but I mean, Pete Nance, you don't pass that up. If he wants to come in, you're definitely going to bring him in. That would just make North Carolina even more of the favorites to win the championship next year. I mean, they're already a top tier favorite to win the whole thing next year easily. With the run that they had last year, returning R.J. Davis, Caleb Love, and especially Armando Bacot, Leaky Black, and if Pete Nance is in that five as well, that is pretty tough. I am not going to lie, guys. North Carolina is looking pretty tough. We got 5 people in here. Say what's up, everybody. I do need to put the link in the chat really quick, actually. If you guys want to call in, then you can. I will put the link in the chat and pin it to the top. So if you guys do want to call in and talk some college hoops with me, all you got to do is click that link I just put in the chat, and I will add you to the StreamYard, and we can talk. So if you you guys don't want to, you can put your questions in the chat, anything like that. I do have some other news going on in college basketball as well, and we can continue to talk about the Big 12 and everything. Hold up. Let me pin this real quick. All right. All good. But other news going on. Geo Pat, will the Big 12 be better or worse with no Oklahoma and Texas? Worse. I mean, if you're talking college football, definitely worse. As far as basketball, with what we're gaining, it might be better for basketball. I mean, Oklahoma and Texas are big football schools, but Texas is good at basketball too. And Oklahoma, they have their years where they're always decent at basketball. Oklahoma is as well. And they have their years where they're really good, like when they had Buddy Hield, especially, and they made the Final Four. But with what we're getting in return with BYU and especially Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, I'd say better for basketball. Worse 100% for football. I mean, no doubt about it. Those are the two biggest name brands in the Big 12 for college football easily. And they're two of the biggest name brands in all of college football. So to lose them, it's definitely going to be worse in football for sure. And the 2023 Battle for Atlantis tournament teams have been announced, and I have them written down right here. So this will be a very fun tournament at the start of the college basketball season. Like I said, the Battle for Atlantis. We have representation from just about every. I think every Power 6 conference has a team to represent them in this tournament. We have North Carolina in this tournament, Villanova, Michigan, Arkansas, Memphis, Oklahoma, Stanford, and Northern Iowa. So I would say you have representation from probably the top 8 conferences. I mean, you got North Carolina from the ACC, Villanova from the Big East. You got Michigan from the Big Ten, Arkansas from the SEC, Memphis from the AAC, Oklahoma from the Big 12, Stanford from the Pac-12, and then you got Northern Iowa as well. I mean, that is a pretty stacked group of teams to be in the tournament. I mean, Northern Iowa is no slouch. They're usually pretty good, like year to year. But they did lose a lot of players through transfer portal this year, so I don't know if they'll be as good this year. But you know, you can't ever sleep on Northern Iowa. They pull off upsets, man. They can do it. The Big 12, they don't need any basketball stuff. They have too much, but bro, we're getting Houston, and Houston is one of the like most, how do I put this in words? Like, they're one of the programs right now in college basketball that are like taking off. I would say them, Arkansas, and Texas Tech. Those 3 teams are just like taking off, and they're going on an uphill climb right now. And the fact that 2 of those 3 teams that I just mentioned are going to be in the Big 12 now, Texas Tech and Houston. And then you got Kansas, a true blue blood in that conference as well. Baylor just won a national championship too. They are on an upwards trajectory as well. I mean, yeah. I mean, you're right. The Big 12 is already the best conference in college basketball. They don't really need them. But this just puts it to another level, man. Yo, what's up, Drake? How you doing, man? I'm watching the finals right now. The Warriors have been taken off. I'm excited to see Andrew Wiggins get a ring. I mean, that dude is a bucket. He's been very disrespected throughout his NBA career, and really for no reason. I mean, he's done well in the NBA. I mean, even when he was on the Timberwolves. Here's a story for you guys for the podcast. I saw Andrew Wiggins play live in Morgantown at WVU when he was at Kansas. And I immediately knew this dude was a bucket. So he was the first round pick in 2015. So this is probably like the 2014 season. We upset Kansas that year in Morgantown, but Andrew Wiggins gave us a 40 piece, literally a 40 piece, and Kansas lost. And I mean, Andrew Wiggins was an absolute bucket in college. Absolute bucket. Dude was crazy. You think Boston will win? They're down by, how much are they down? They're down by 15 right now at halftime. Yo, enjoying your vacation? Where are you on vacation at, man? That's awesome. Where do I think Pete Nance will end up? Yeah, that's one of the topics I want to talk about today. He's probably one of the, I mean, it's him or Imani Bates are the top transfer available right now. I'd probably give the edge to Imani Bates, just because he has more potential to be like a superstar type player, whereas Pete Nance, you kind of know what you're going to get, which is really good production. But yeah, Pete Nance, probably the second best transfer still available in college basketball. You say Kentucky's in the sweepstakes, or you asked this. I haven't heard anything on Kentucky. As far as what I've seen, Pete Nance is down to his final three, and that is North Carolina, who I think is the favorites right now and where he's probably going to end up, Illinois, and Michigan. And apparently, he's visiting North Carolina this weekend. And I've seen some stuff that he's visiting Michigan, but not from a reliable source. I saw from a reliable sources that he's visiting North Carolina this weekend. So I'm thinking Pete Nance is going to go to North Carolina. I haven't seen anything on him visiting Illinois. Maybe he already has. I'd have to look into a little bit more, but if I had to predict right now, I think Pete Nance is going to go to North Carolina, and that just makes them even more stacked, man. I mean, they're bringing back RJ Davis, Caleb Love, Leaky Black. Then you had Pete Nance at the 4, Armando Bacot at the 5. That's a stacked roster. That's a stacked starting 5. I mean, even if North Carolina doesn't bring him back, they have Johnson, who can come in and play on the 4. He had an excellent game in the championship game. I mean, we all know he threw up, but he still played good, you know. But yeah, I think Pete, if I had to predict, I think he'd go to North Carolina. But I mean, that's good for North Carolina depth-wise, but I think, you got Johnson coming in there at the 4. That's not too bad, so I don't know how much of an upgrade it really is. Maybe well, I'm not going to say that because it probably is an upgrade and you get that depth, but having Johnson there at the 4 is it should be good, man. 200 miles north of San Fran, man, you're all the way west, man. How is it over there? That's awesome. It's halftime on the NBA Finals game right now. So we got some stuff to talk about. They also announced the Big 12 SEC Challenge games this year, and there are some really good matchups set up. I did not see a date that these games will be played. I'm sure it will come out probably pretty soon, as more and more of the schedule starts to get out there. But listen to some of these matchups, guys. Big 12 SEC Challenge games this year. Arkansas at Baylor. That is going to be a very fun matchup. Two coaches who are looking to be really have really, really bright futures with their teams. Scott Drew and Eric Musselman. That's going to be a really, really fun game. I'm excited for that one. Kansas at Kentucky. I'm hyped for this game because it's two blue bloods, but I feel like we get this matchup a lot. So I wish they would have gave us a different matchup for Kentucky and Kansas, kind of just to switch it up a little bit. but I'm also fine with it because it's Kentucky versus Kansas. It's going to be fun to watch. You got Texas at Tennessee. I think that is going to be a really good matchup. I like that a lot. TCU at Mississippi State. That one's not that interesting. I think TCU is going to win that one pretty easily. Alabama at Oklahoma. That is actually going to be a pretty good game too. I'd probably lean more towards Alabama, but Oklahoma's no slouch, man. I mean, Porter Moser, the coach for the Sooners, is a good coach, man. Former Loyola Chicago coach. That's going to be a good game. Oklahoma barely missed out on the tournament this year or last year, so they're going to be hungry this year for sure. And then you got Auburn at WVU. That's going to be a tough one for us Mountaineer fans, man. Auburn's going to be a very good team, but it's going to be fun. Coming into Morgantown could be a good game for sure. Ole Miss at Oklahoma State. Again, Ole Miss not that good at basketball. I think Oklahoma State's going to take that one. Florida at Kansas State. I think Florida's going to take that one pretty easily, but Kansas State, they lost. They lost Nigel Pack, but they gained a few guys who transferred up from mid majors this year. So we'll see how Kansas State is looking this year. Iowa at Missouri. Oh wait, Iowa State at Missouri. My bad. That's gonna be a pretty fun matchup, I would say. That those two teams are gonna be around evenly matched this year. And then you got Texas Tech at LSU, and Texas Tech's probably going to hammer LSU, but who knows? It might be a little bit closer than we think. They got KJ Williams, got a new head coach in there, former Murray State head coach at LSU. So those are some good matchups. So some really good matchups in there. I'm excited for those. They got announced today. Good, enjoying time with the family. I see once a year. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. It's really fun. Kentucky, Kansas going to be game of the year. I could see it. It's going to be a fun game. There's a lot of good matchups, man. A lot of good matchups in those for sure. One of the things I got coming up on the channel, I got a lot of good videos coming up on the channel. Actually, tomorrow I have my preseason All-American teams coming out. So I'll go ahead and plug some of these videos we got coming out on the podcast here. I got the first team, second team, third team, my preseason All-American picks. And I think I'm also going to do a all mid-major team because I noticed on my first 3 All-American teams, I didn't have any mid-major players, but there are a lot of good players that play for mid-major teams. So I think I'm going to do, for tomorrow's video, we got All-American first team, second team, third team, and then I'm going to do my mid-major All-American team all in tomorrow's video. Some other stuff we got coming up on the channel. I think I'm going to, actually, speaking of mid-majors, I'm probably going to have my top 5 mid-major schools for next year coming out as a video. I might have my top 10 predicted most impactful freshmen coming in. So 10 freshmen that I think are going to have a big impact next year, this upcoming season. Other stuff I got coming up, I got an Arkansas basketball video coming up. I think that's coming out Saturday, so 2 days. That one will be out. And then I got one coming out here that it will be teams that I think will have a bounce back year. I don't know how many teams I'm going to do. I got, think 5 or 10 maybe, but just teams that, missed out on the tournament last year, didn't have the best year, that I think will have a bounce back year next year. So, some of the stuff I got coming up on the channel there for you guys. A lot of good stuff. I'm really motivated about the channel, guys. All your guys' support is very much appreciated, and I cannot thank you guys enough. I'm very motivated on uh, the channel. My visions for the channel are very big, and I'm very excited about it. Very excited about it. We're going to be growing the channel a lot. A lot. Wish they had a SEC Big Ten challenge in football. That would be awesome, man. I would love that. I wish they did stuff like that in football, like had the SEC Big Ten challenge. Think of how many people would be watching that, especially SEC fans, because SEC fans love to say they're the best conference, and I mean they are, but they just love to say that. So if you want to challenge them, go up against the Big Ten teams. Everyone would love that. All college football fans would love that. I think that's a great idea. I don't think they'd ever do it, but I mean it would be awesome. Yo, what's up, Shansta? How you doing, man? Thoughts on the new look Sooners under Coach V, if any? I mean, I think Oklahoma's going to be pretty good this year. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel, Coach Venables coming in. He's a defensive guy. I think that's what Oklahoma needed. Lincoln Riley, he's a good head coach, but I don't know if Oklahoma was ever going to win like a national championship under Lincoln Riley because they never had the defense, man. We'll see if Brent Venables, he can get some more defensive recruits in there. And if Oklahoma can still bring in the top tier quarterback talent, which Dylan Gabriel out of the transfer portal, that's a good start. Dude is very, very good. Yeah, I think Oklahoma, them or Baylor would probably be my preseason pick to win the Big 12. I don't think any Big 12 teams will make the playoff this year, but I think in the future, in the long run, the Brent Venables hire is going to be a really good hire, and it's going to pay off. Yo, what's up, Joey? You didn't miss much. Talking some college basketball, a little bit of football. The quarterbacks that went to the pros are underrated. The only thing why yeah, I get what you're saying, Geopat. I get what you're saying. True about Riley not having a D. Not sure he put much stock on D. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he always brought in some top tier quarterback talent from recruiting, but as far as the defensive end, it just wasn't going to get the job done because every time they made it to the college football playoff, their defense just could not hang around with like the type of guys that teams like Alabama gets on the defensive end. It's just it's hard to compete, and sometimes you can get that guy, that one really good quarterback who, no matter the defense, he still can take over a game. So that's what would have to happen, I think, for Oklahoma to win a championship under Lincoln Riley. They'd have to get a guy so good, and that he'd have to be he'd have to be like one of those guys who can just absolutely take over a game. And they've had those guys, like they've had Kyler Murray, especially Baker Mayfield, but yeah. Emailed me some heat maps. I think you'll like them. All right, man, I'll check them out. Yeah, prime example would be LSU Joe Burrow. Yeah, like that type of guy, you have to get a really special type of guy. And Joe Burrow, like that LSU team had a defense as well, which is why that's that 2019 LSU team is probably the best football team, like all around football team that I've seen in my lifetime. That I think 2019 LSU is the best all around college football team I've seen in my lifetime. Um, that team was just so stacked because they had the guy behind quarterback. They had receivers. They just so good, man. So good. They had the defense. Crazy. They put it all together that year and went crazy for sure. The Zags win it this year. Yeah, they came out of nowhere that year. They really did. I don't think anyone was expecting LSU to come because the year before that they lost in the bowl game, right? And Joe Burrow got hit hard, and or did they win that bowl game? I'm not sure, but it wasn't a like top tier bowl game. It wasn't a New Year's Six, so I think people thought LSU would be good, but I don't think that they thought they'd be that good. I mean, Joe Burrow really burst on the scene that year and took over. Yeah, Burrow was close to a Super Bowl. Um, he did bring that mindset to the pros, and I think that he will probably eventually win a Super Bowl. Um, they got a young squad there in Cincy. They do. Check in on this NBA Finals. Second half is about to come back on. I'm just I'm very excited. Like I could cheer for both teams to win the finals this year. Because I'd love to see Steph win another ring because Steph is amazing. And I'd also like Andrew Wiggins to win a ring. But there is also so many players on the Celtics that I would love to see win a ring. So like I honestly I've been cheering for Steph mainly, but whoever wins, I'd be happy. Love what my Bengals have built. Our odds any given week now, yeah. Yeah. Since he's scary, man. They're building something nice over there. And they're gonna win a Super Bowl with Joe Burrow here soon. If I had to guess next 5 years, I'd say they'll have one. I would if someone gave to me, they said, would you like to bet on the Cincinnati Bengals to win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years? I would take that bet. It would be good to see Boston finally get one. I'm living so close for so many years. They could never get past LeBron and let him have a ring. Yeah, they were close a lot of years, man. They gave Braun a lot of troubles over the years. They just couldn't get it done. Um, it would be awesome to see them get a ring, just because so many. I like a lot of players on Boston. Like I like Marcus Smart. A lot of people don't like Marcus Smart. I love Marcus Smart's game. He's an excellent defender. I think the only thing that people don't really like about him is that he flops a lot, and I don't like that. I mean, that's why I love college basketball, guys. I don't like I don't like how they don't call travel stuff like that. The little strategic things in basketball like that, uh, they just don't call in the NBA like they do college basketball, you know? I feel like coaching matters a lot more in college basketball than it does the NBA, and that is for sure. I mean, coaches still matter in the NBA, but they matter a lot more in college basketball. So many players though that I loved watching in college that play for the Celtics team. I mean, Al Horford at Florida, a beast. Jason Tatum at Duke was a beast. Marcus Smart at Oklahoma State. Uh, I watched Oklahoma State when they came to Morgantown when they had Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart was a bucket in college, and he's been hooping. Um, he has been hooping this finals. I would go like I think if Boston wins the championship, Marcus Smart's probably going to win Finals MVP. And that's crazy. I mean, he has been hooping because I think he's averaging, I think I seen earlier he's averaging like 16 a game in the finals. And then he's also been playing defense on Steph, and Steph's been cooking. No doubt about it. But if you have to guard Steph, I mean, come on. I'm sorry, my microphone didn't pick that up accurately. My comment did not make sense. Yeah. Yes, kids pick programs because of coaches. Exactly. The recruiting, stuff like that. But also just like in-game coaching, like strategy. Like you can switch to a zone in college. Like nobody plays a zone. Nobody presses in the NBA. You know, they just play man-to-man, and that's what you have to play at that level. I mean, that's just how it is. You play a zone in the NBA, they're going to break it apart. Same with the press. I mean, if you press in the NBA, they're just going to break it apart. But in college, you know, you can do those things, you know, and I love it. I love that type of strategy that comes in the game. I don't like the travels, stuff like that that's in the NBA. It's still entertaining to watch because they're so good. I mean, everybody that's in the NBA is so good. So it's fun to watch, but I 100% prefer college basketball. If I didn't, I'd probably be an NBA channel, but I'm not. Any Kentucky basketball news? You know, I haven't seen any Kentucky basketball news lately. Let me see. I can see if they're looking to pick up anybody else before the season gets started here. If you guys want kept up on all college basketball news, follow your boy on Twitter, because every time I see a source with something interesting about college basketball, I'm always retweeting it or I'm tweeting out my own. So if you guys want to stay updated with college basketball, college football to some, go follow me on Twitter at Daniology, 2 Ys at the end. Right now, I don't see any updates on Kentucky basketball right now. But, yeah. Don't see anything right now. Kind of got through all the main topics I wanted to talk about. I talked about the Big 12. Officially, the 4 new teams will be joining on July 1st, 2023. So that is some big news. Also, we talked about Pete Nance, where I think he is going to land. He looks like he is down to his final 3 teams. Where do you guys think Imani Bates is going to go? I've been hearing Louisville as like the main team, but like that kind of seems weird to me. I don't know. I'm wondering where Imani Bates is about to head. We also talked about the Big 12 SEC Challenge games that got announced. We talked about the Battle for Atlantis tournament that got announced. That is going to be a fun tournament. A lot of great teams that are in there. that will be at the start of next year. Um, yeah, guys. It's kind of the main things that's been going on in college basketball this week. Let me see if I had anything else going on in college basketball this week. We're starting to get closer. I think we're like 140 days until basketball season starts again. I honestly I can't wait. Um, I really can't wait. Yeah, there's not really much news going around college basketball right now. Those are kind of the main topics. But as we get closer and closer, I'm sure some more stuff will come out. But yeah, Texas Tech did get another commitment. They got North Carolina's Kerwin Walton. He transferred from North Carolina to Texas Tech. Averaged 3.5 points for them, 1 rebound as a Tar Heel his sophomore year. We'll see if he can give Texas Tech some good minutes over there. Um, Texas Tech has been amazing in the transfer portal. He really has. Um, so that's another thing going on. Not sure how big of a piece that will be for the Red Raiders. Um, Excited to see what Kentucky can do, both football and basketball. I was finally able to confirm that Josh Ali is gone. He was a super senior. Dang. So that's a big loss as well. So no Josh Ali, no Wandell Robinson. Um, but you did tell me they got some good receivers coming in there as well. Um, yeah, we'll see if Will Levis lives up to the hype. I think he's going to be pretty good. So yeah, I'm excited to watch Kentucky. You know what I wish, Drake? I wish that West Virginia played Kentucky in the Big 12 SEC Challenge. Um, so then Oscar can play his former team. I mean, I think that we would get creamed, but it would be fun to watch. It really would. There is a pretty good vibe around a West Virginia basketball program. Pretty good team unity going on. Could be a surprise season. Yes, I hope so, Joey. I really do. I hope we have a bounce back year, make the tournament this year. If we can do that, I'm happy. Anything can happen in the tournament. We win a couple games, Um, I really hope. I'm very optimistic for our basketball team this year. A lot of new guys. A lot of guys are going to have to step up. If we're going to want to make the tournament, we got playing the toughest conference in college basketball. So it's not going to be easy. But I'm very excited and optimistic about our basketball team. I hope that we can make the tournament this year. It's not like Bob Huggins to miss back-to-back tournaments. It's really not like Bob Huggins. I think just based on Bob Huggins alone, I trust that WVU is going to be back in the tournament this year. I trust it. I trust it, man. Yo, what's up, Hoops? What's going on, man? That guy from North Carolina, per 36 minutes stats are crazy. Yeah, North Carolina did not play their bench at all. That is true. That is true. He might be nice for Texas Tech. That's probably why he transferred. I don't think North Carolina's going to play much of their bench again this year. Yeah, that is actually a good point. That is a good point. I think Kentucky could finish second with some breaks, but most likely third, in your opinion. Third in the SEC for basketball or football. One of the whiteouts we got was from Bama. Oof. I mean, he's got talent then, right? If he's recruited by Bama, then he's got talent. So Oscar would have the game of revenge game if he played WVU in the challenge. Yeah, he probably would because we don't have a solidified big man right now to guard him either. We got some young guys. So we brought in a big guy from the transfer portal as well, but yeah, no one that's going to be able to guard Oscar that well. So he would have maybe a 20-20 game against us, and it would be entertaining though. I'd love to see it. Um, but you are right. He would be a problem for WVU, but I would love to see the matchup. I mean, right now 12. I'm comfortable Duke. There's 12. You guys gonna have a deep roster this year, then? That's exciting. I think a lot of people are kind of sleeping on what Duke's going to be able to do next year. Like maybe it's because like I don't know why I get that feeling that people are sleeping on Duke again this year, but they got 3 top 5 recruits coming in this year. Yeah, they are losing a lot to the draft. But you still have some returning guys like Roach, solid point guard, and he had an underrated tournament. Like that man Roach was going off in the tournament this year, that Final Four run, and I think Duke's going to be a very, very good team again this year. Probably a top 3 seed at least. And I don't know why I feel like people are sleeping on him this year. And like you should not sleep on Duke basketball. You just shouldn't. Football SEC, I think Georgia, Tennessee, and then Kentucky. Of course, nobody is beating Bama in the SEC championship. I agree with you. Yeah, they could finish second maybe. It's going to come down to that Kentucky Tennessee game. I mean, whoever wins that one is maybe going to be second in the SEC East, because they play each other. Whoever wins that one's probably got it. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't think anybody's going to beat Alabama in the SEC championship this year. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, hoops. Yeah, that is true. I mean, but I feel like whenever you all had Coach K, like a few years and like a few years ago, you guys would get these recruits. Like when you guys had Zion, RJ Barrett coming in, and Cam Reddish, everybody knew that Duke was about to be a problem. But this year, like nobody's talking about their top recruits coming in. Like they are going to be a problem. Maybe it's because Duke had a little bit of an off year the year before this one, but that's the only explanation. Like I really don't know why people think that Duke's not going to be nice this year. I mean, they are. They're going to be there for sure. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Jay, though. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, we got 9 people in here. Say what's up. Make sure you guys drop that like button, too. Or drop a like on that like button. We're going to be doing this every week. We're going to do the college basketball podcast here. We talked about this earlier. I really like what we're doing on the channel. I'm very motivated to keep growing it. Been growing a lot recently, and I feel like we've been growing a lot on the basketball side of things, and I love college basketball. So I'm motivated as ever to keep growing this channel. Got a lot of uploads planned to be uploaded soon, and we're going to keep doing this podcast every single Thursday. So make sure you guys come back here next Thursday where we will be live again on all things college basketball. We talked some college football in there as well. But all the updates on college basketball we'll talk about here every single week. Steph is going crazy right now. Steph is really going crazy right now in the finals. It's looking like the The Warriors got this one. They're going to finish it out in 6. Still another quarter to be played, but they're up by 12. Wait, no, they're up by 20. Or wait, no, 17. My bad. I can't do math. All right. I just found out that those Big 12 SEC matchups, I think, are going to be played on January 28th, 2023. So January 28th will be the SEC Big 12 Challenge. I'm not sure if they're all going to be on the same day, but WVU versus Auburn will be on January 28th. I'm trying to figure out more on Imani Bates. I'm trying to figure out where he is thinking about transferring to, because he's been in the portal like a while, man, and trying to figure out where he's about to go. I actually found some sources saying Imani Bates favorited to go to Michigan. That's interesting. Louisville and Michigan looks like it's down to those two. Just got looked up a little more on it. Imani Bates looking like he's going to Michigan or Louisville. And this source from Aaron Klein on Twitter, he's got a decent amount of followers, says maybe Michigan might be the favorites right now to land Bates. So we'll see about that. We'll see about that. For sure. What's Duke's schedule looking like? We can check that out. Yeah, we got 12 people in here. Say what's up, everybody. Yeah, it's exciting because all the schedules are coming out. We'll see if Duke's is out yet. Okay, so November 15th, 2022, you have the Champions Classic. Duke versus Kansas, Kentucky versus Michigan State. And those games are going to be played in Indianapolis. So that's looking like the first game of the season. They always have that Champions Classic kind of thing there. So Duke will play Kansas first game of this season, and then they will play in the Phil Knight Legacy Tournament. I'm not sure who is in that, but that is all I see out on Duke's schedule right now. Let me see who's in the Phil Knight tournament. Okay, so 16 teams announced for the Phil Knight's PK85 tournament, November 2022. Those teams are the Oregon Ducks. Oregon Ducks, I think they're going to have a bounce back here this year and be a tournament team for sure. The Alabama Crimson Tide, another tough team. Michigan State Spartans, another great coach team. North Carolina's in this tournament? There ain't no way. They're playing in the Battle for Atlantis. Maybe they're playing in both. UConn, Villanova, Iowa State, Portland Pilots, Duke, Florida, Gonzaga, Oregon State, Portland State, Purdue, and WVU. Oh, WVU's in that tournament as well. Xavier. So my team is in that tournament too, Hoops. Xavier as well. Yeah, so that is a pretty good looking tournament. And that source comes from duckswire.usatoday.com. So that's where that source comes from. I'm guessing an Oregon Ducks site because they're in the tournament. But yeah, that is all I see for Duke's schedule so far. So they're going to play in the Champions Classic and then that Phil Knight tournament. That's a tough match. Yeah, it's going to be a good one, though. Kansas lost a lot of dudes from that championship team. A player that I think is going to have a huge step up, though, this year, Jalen Wilson. Jalen Wilson on Kansas. He's about to be the guy who steps up from last year's team. He is going to be a beast on Kansas, for sure. Big 12 football is this year, dark horses, Kansas State, WVU. I don't see any others. I think it goes Baylor, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Texas, Iowa State, Texas Tech, TCU, Kansas. But WVU and Kansas State could swap. I could see that. I would probably put Oklahoma State at third. And then the rest I agree with. So I would probably put Oklahoma State at third, WVU and Kansas State at fourth and fifth, and then the rest. Yeah, I agree with you. But I could see where Oklahoma State might not be as good as last year in football because they lost their defensive coordinator to Ohio State, and then they lost a lot of secondary pieces as well. But I still think Oklahoma State's going to be really good. I'm actually one of the people, I think Spencer Sanders is going to have a pretty good year at quarterback this year. Not anything crazy, but I think Spencer Sanders is going to step up this year and be pretty decent. Because he has, the arm strength. He just sometimes he makes some mistakes. But yeah. Yo, what's up, Geopat? You're back. The thing about Kansas is they have no superstars, but have a lot of role players. Yeah, this year, yeah. Yeah, I think Jalen Wilson, he's going to be probably their top player this year. Who else do they have returning? Is Remy Martin and those guys returning? Because I know they lost Ochai Abachi, David McCormick, Christian Braun. So those are three big guys they're losing. But it's Remy Martin stuff coming back because they're going to be pretty tough to beat again this year. Jalen Wilson. He's going to be a beast, though. And then they got guys like Grady Dick. They got some other top recruits coming in. So, yeah, never sleep on Kansas in basketball. That's for a fact. That is a fact. Well, you can't underestimate Mike Gundy. Yeah, Oklahoma State's going to be good. That's why I said I'd probably put them at third, at least for now, until I see how good their defense is. Because if their defense is as good as last year's, I got to say Oklahoma State's going to be very, very good once again. Yo, what's up, Chris Smith? How you doing, man? It has been a while. What you been up to, bro? Yo, what's up? ZS77. Spencer Sanders has a high floor, but just can't stay consistent to reach a high ceiling. Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's why I was kind of saying I think that he might take a step up this year, though. Like, he is good at times if he can be, like you said, more consistent. He can be really good for Oklahoma State, and I think that that's going to be a key part for the Cowboys this year. Especially they're losing that awesome secondary that they had last year, um, or some pieces of it. So Remy Martin graduated. Yeah, I thought he was a senior. I didn't know if he had another year of eligibility, or you never know who's gonna just pull another year of eligibility out of nowhere nowadays. Uh, yeah. All right, Remy's leaving. Um, but yeah, you never know who's gonna pull out another year of eligibility for real. So I wasn't for sure on that one. All I was for sure on was the guys going to the draft and stuff like that. Just got in here late, but Remy Martin gone. But a guy we're not talking about is Grady Dick. I did just mention him. Yeah. He's a good recruit. He's going to be a solid player for y'all. I think uh uh who did I just say? Jalen Wilson. Jalen Wilson is going to be the next guy at Kansas. I think he's going to be a 15, 16 points per game scorer this year. So he's not going to be like a superstar player, but he's going to be their go-to guy. I think it's going to be a more for Kansas. It's going to be more of like a team scoring. Like they're going to share the ball very, very well. Um, but I think their main guy is going to be Jalen Wilson. That dude's going to be awesome. But yeah, Grady Dick, he's nice. He is nice. Coming out of high school. Duke needs defense badly. Yeah, we'll have to see how their freshmen do and their new pieces coming in there, how they are defensively. Nothing much is baseball and football training. How about you? And Spencer Sanders is a likable guy. Yeah, I think he's going to take a step up this year. Pretty good. But yeah, I've been doing the YouTubes, working, enjoying my summer, man. Just enjoying my summer. Having a lot of fun. Mitch Lightfoot still has another year of eligibility. See, he is like Perry Ellis. That's exactly what I was saying. Like, wasn't this year like Mitch Lightfoot's like 6th year, and he still somehow he's going to be 30. He's going to be 30. He's 21 going on 30 this year. That's crazy that he has another year of eligibility. Yo, Trey. Oh, you're a WVU guy. Just like me, man. But follows every team. Yeah, I got you. Texas Tech has a very different basketball squad. A lot of shooters. Some really nice veteran guards. And probably the best front court in at least the Big 12. Yeah. Texas Tech's going to be nice. I did a video on Texas Tech's pickups this offseason. Fardos Imac from Utah State. He is going to be a stud, man. Kevin O'Banner. You're not wrong. They might have the best front court in the Big 12. I'm trying to think if there's any other front courts in the Big 12 that can be competitive with that. I don't know, man. I know Baylor's big man, Flo Thamba. He's really good. Baylor's always going to have a solid squad. I'm trying to think of another front court that's going to hang. You got Timmy Allen at Texas. He's solid. But as far as like a front court duo, Texas Tech might have it. They might have it, man. Who else do we got that has a nice front court? We talked about Kansas. They're going to have Mitch Lightfoot in there playing his 8th year. Grady Dick is Bohan Bogdanovic. If he's like that, man, he's going to be a crazy shooter. And he's going to be good because he plays for Kansas. They're going to develop him nice. Um, he's got a funny name, man. I could see him being like one of those players who plays a lot of years in college basketball too. Like, oh my gosh, he's going to be a problem. Yep, WVU is welcoming the Fighting Bruce Pearls next year in the Coliseum. I'm gonna go to that game. I always go to a bunch of basketball games, man. Anytime WVU is playing somebody nice, I'm there, and we usually are. Playing Big 12, you're gonna play guys. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to the Auburn game. Oh, he's gone. Okay, Mitch Lightfoot is finally gone. All right, I was about to say there is no way that man has another year of eligibility because he's been there since like 2016. That's crazy. That is crazy. Eddie Lampkin at TC. Oh, I forgot about Eddie. He had a big game in the Arizona game, round of 32 last year. Yeah, he's looking pretty nice. TCU's a sleeper this year. They're going to be in the upper portion of the Big 12. Mike Miles, dude is a stud. We'll be talking about him some in tomorrow's video. Little sneak peek there. I got big expectations from Mike Miles. TCU, I think they're going to be a top 5 seed in next year's tournament at least. Mitch was there at 2014. Oh, man, that's 8 years. That is ridiculous. That's just like what I was saying, man. Like, people be pulling an extra year of eligibility like out of nowhere. That's why I was not sure if Remy Martin was coming back. I was like, because people be pulling eligibilities out. This is a huge year for Bob Huggins. He needs to turn it around. Yeah. We love Bob here. I'm optimistic. I trust Bob, and the Huggy Bears, I think we'll be back in the tournament this year. We have a brand new team, man. It's gonna be it could be really good though. It could be a really good thing. I mean, keeping the same team wasn't gonna do us any good. So we had to switch things up. And I like that Bob Huggins, he wasn't scared to switch things up. We have the least returning minutes from last year's teams in all of college basketball. I think I've seen that stat on Twitter. We're only returning about 7% of our minutes from last year's team. So yeah, we trust Bob Huggins here. Everybody loves Bob Huggins, and I believe we'll be back in the tournament next year. I mean, he's got some talent to work with. He does. He's got some talent to work with there. I hope not, but I think the Big 12 could take a step back in basketball this year. I mean, still very good. Just no Final Four teams, unfortunately. Could be wrong. You don't think... I can't say that. I think the Big 12 will probably have a Final Four team this year. I don't know who it's going to be. But if I think about all the good teams in the Big 12, man, Texas. I think Texas is going to be a really good team in the Big 12 this year. Baylor, they always have a shot at it, man. Baylor might actually be my preseason favorites to win the Big 12 next year. I mean, they're going to have Adam Flagler back, Flo Thamba. He's going to be a beast, man. So many guys. They are losing Matt Meyer. I know Jeremy Sokan is going to the draft. Baylor's got dudes. They got Jalen Bridges, bro. Jalen Bridges transferred over to Baylor. They're going to be a tough team. Baylor's definitely Final Four caliber. Bob ain't going nowhere until he says, yeah, it's really up to him. He's going to be here till he retires. That's facts. Yeah, the new Big 12 is going to be ridiculously good. Baylor is probably the front runner at the moment with Flagler, Cryer, yeah, LJ Cryer, a beast, Lothamba, JTT, and some really nice freshmen. Yeah, they got Jalen Bridges coming in there from WVU. They're gonna be tough. I'd say that they're the favorites. The Big 12, I could see them taking like a minor step back, but I still think they're going to be the best conference in basketball this year. And then the new Big 12, we talked about it earlier. It's going to be wild because Houston alone makes the Big 12 like extremely better just with Houston. I mean, Houston is a championship contender next year. Easily one of the favorites to win the whole thing next year. And they're going to be joining the best conference in basketball. Cincinnati, great history. They're going to be joining. They can get good again as well, especially being in the Big 12. They'll get some more recruits there at Cincinnati for sure. UCF, they could be decent at basketball. That's probably more. They'll be better at football probably, but and then BYU. Sometimes they have some nice basketball teams over there. BYU is consistently the team that challenges Gonzaga. I mean, this year it was more of St. Mary's and San Francisco, but BYU, sometimes St. Mary's, sometimes BYU is usually the team that challenges Gonzaga the most in the West Coast Conference. But yeah, I think BYU, they're going to be a great join over to the Big 12. It's going to be nice to have some easier, not easy games with UCF, Cincy, and BYU. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Because there's really no, quote, easy game in the Big 12, but they are easier, especially UCF. Cincinnati and BYU, it kind of depends on the year. But yeah, Central Florida is going to have a tough time in basketball, I would think. But who knows? Maybe they'll join the Big 12. They'll start getting some better recruits. I remember that year UCF had Taco Fall. And then they almost beat Duke in the tournament. That was fun. I really thought that UCF was about to upset Duke that year. I was going crazy. I know exactly where I was when that happened because I was watching that game on my phone. And my mom was driving me. We went over to get ice cream. And I was watching the ending of that game on my phone in the car on the way home. And I really did think that Taco Fall and UCF were about to beat Duke, and that was when Duke had Zion, RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, that stacked team, bro. That's crazy. We'll see. Maybe UCF, they can get another Taco Fall. Maybe they'll be nice. Not a basketball expert, I promise, but I think it will be different this year. See, basketball is kind of my main sport, so I really don't think the Big 12 is going anywhere, though. I think the ACC is going to be really good. The Big East is going to be really, really good. So I think it will be close this year, like as far as who's going to be the best conference. But I still got to give it to the Big 12 because you think of it. Baylor, Texas, Texas Tech, Iowa State, Kansas. Oh my gosh, there's so many solid teams, man. WVU, I think they're going to have a bounce back year. TCU, they're going to be a problem this year. Crazy. And who am I missing? Kansas State, they lost Nigel Pack. They're probably going to be on the bottom of the conference, but they're not even that bad of a team. Oklahoma, they're actually probably going to be nice next year because they just barely missed the tournament last year. They got a good coach in Moser. Oklahoma's no slouch. And then there's one more team I can't even. Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's probably going to be decent this year. They weren't that good last year, but they hung in there with some good teams last year. And last year they also weren't they banned from the tournament or something? They couldn't compete in it. So I think Oklahoma State's probably going to be good again next year too. It's like, yeah. The Big 12 is like that. The Big 12 is really like that for basketball. That is really the best part about WVU being in the Big 12 is basketball. Like I said, basketball, my main sport. College basketball, I love to watch it. It's definitely my favorite sport to watch is college basketball. My favorite sport to play is basketball. It's the sport I was best at. Sport I had the most fun playing. Sport I had the most fun watching. And that's the best part about being a WVU fan in the Big 12 is because we play in the best conference. We have a very, very good, historically good head coach in Bob Huggins. Hall of Famer. Just love it. That's the best part about being in the Big 12. 100%. Oklahoma is your biggest sleeper. They finished really strong last year, and Moser is one of the best coaches in college basketball. I agree. You see that? Which way I gotta go? Loyola Chicago. He's the one who took him there, man. Porter Moser. He is an excellent head coach, and that's a huge get for Oklahoma. I remember whenever Oklahoma hired him, I was like, bro, of course, like, a really good head coaching hire had to come to the Big 12. It's crazy how many good coaches there are in the Big 12. I mean, how many coaches? Isn't there like a bunch of coaches that have made Final Fours before in the Big 12? You have Bob Huggins, of course. Scott Drew won a championship. Bill Self won a championship. Won a couple there with Kansas. And we just said Porter Moser. He's been to a Final Four with Loyola Chicago. You have, Mark Adams made a Final Four as the assistant coach to Chris Beard, and then Chris Beard is another one because he's still in league at Texas. So I think that's it. That's 6 if you count Mark Adams when he was assistant, but then if you're counting assistants, maybe some other coaches made it there as assistants as well. Iowa State's head coach, I can't even think of his name right now, but he took them to the Sweet 16 this year. Yeah, Iowa State might be looking nice, man. They got a good young head coach in there. A young head coach. UCF basketball and head coach Johnny Dawkins, very good underrated coach. Yeah, I agree. UCF, they can have some good teams. It depends on the year, but they can get some people in there, and I think they'll do a lot better recruiting once they're in the Big 12. Because think about it, UCF in the Big 12, they're going to have that pitch out there. We play in the best conference, and there are a ton of amazing basketball recruits in the state of Florida. So you're the only Big 12 team in Florida, you might pull some recruits at UCF. And like you said, he is an underrated head coach. Yeah, I think UCF, they could be a solid program like in the future, for sure. Oklahoma State went to Baylor and won it last year. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oklahoma State, they didn't have the best record, like non-con or anything. I think Oklahoma State even lost to Oakland last year, but Oakland was actually a decent team as a mid-major. I think Oakland actually almost beat WVU. I think we only beat them by like 8 points or something. It wasn't that. Yeah. Yeah, so Oklahoma State, they didn't have the best record, but they hung in there with teams. They beat Baylor once. Yeah, I think they're going to be solid this year. Let's not forget the best broadcaster, Tony Caridi. Oh, yeah. We all love Tony Caridi. Kansas State, new coach. Has he been to a Final Four? Jerome Tang. I gotcha. So that's another one, man. Mark Adams also won a few JUCO national championships. Yeah, Mark Adams is a great coach. Like if I had to buy, this is kind of a take that I thought that I was thinking all of last season. These three programs are like on the rise, man. And Texas Tech, Houston, and Arkansas, those three teams, they are all on the rise, man, in college basketball. And one of those three teams is going to win a national championship within the next 5 years. Whether it's Arkansas with Eric Musselman, who's building something awesome there, um, Texas Tech with Mark Adams, another great head coach, another great team who's building, who is always getting guys out of the transfer portal, just like Arkansas, and Houston with uh, Kelvin Sampson. He is an awesome coach. Kelvin Sampson's one of my favorite head coaches in the country, but I'm gonna have to start not cheering for him as much because he's gonna be in the Big 12. But Houston, one of the favorites to win it this year. It might be this year that Houston wins the championship. For real. Take our word for it. You're right about basketball this year. I just hope I hope the Mountaineers can bounce back this year, and I think they will. You gotta trust the Huggy Bear, man. Trust the Huggy Bear. We got pretty much a whole new squad this year, and that he has to work with. So I'm very, very excited about it. Very excited. Jay Crowder, they won that. Wow. See, I didn't know that Jay Crowder went to JUCO. He was definitely hooping at JUCO. I could imagine. At Baylor, with Scott Drew, yeah. I will give everyone a heads up on football. In the new Big 12, WVU is the number one brand with the largest fan base in the conference and 30th largest in the nation. So Joey dropping that there for everybody. Warriors are about to win the finals. 3 minutes left, and the Warriors are up by 12. About to watch the ending of this here. Steph Curry about to finally get his first finals MVP. Even though I think he deserved it in 2015 over Iguodala. Remember when Steph Curry was going dumb on Davidson, guys? Took them to the Elite Eight. We all should have known that this guy was about to be a problem. But yeah, guys. Anything else you guys want to talk about here before I end the stream? We've been on here about close to an hour and a half now. A little updates on the channel. I already mentioned earlier in the video some stuff we got upcoming on the channel. Also, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter at Dannyology, 2 Y's at the end. I'm always posting college basketball and college football updates there on the Twitter. And I also post out when I upload a video, I will tweet it out as well. Super motivated than ever to keep the channel grind going for you guys. Got a lot of videos coming up, and I'm thinking the channel is probably going to be more focused towards college basketball than college football. We're still going to do some college football stuff, especially when the season starts. Like I'm going to do my weekly game predictions, stuff like that. But college basketball, It's the sport that I like. I like watching more. I love watching it. I love making content on it. You guys seem to always view, like, comment, all that stuff more on the college basketball content than the college football as well. It's not all about the views and the likes, but it's also about what I enjoy. And I just love college basketball. So I'm thinking majority of my content is going to be more cited towards college basketball than college football, but we're still going to do some football stuff as well. Um, Thursday night, man, got softball in Morgantown, so I wasn't able to get on in time. You're all good, man. You're all good. I appreciate you stopping by. But it's been a lot of fun, guys. We will continue this. This is like the new type of stream that I'm doing that we started this week. I mean, we're always live every Thursday, even before this week. But this is like the... Ooh, got interrupted there. But yeah, guys, like I was saying, this is going to be like the start weekly. Every Thursday night, I'm going to do the Talking College Hoops podcast with Dannyology, where you get on here, give you some weekly updates on what's going down this offseason in college basketball. And yeah, we'll continue putting out the videos and all that. Right on, Danny. Final score of the Backyard Brawl. We're putting up at least 30. Trey says 31-24 WVU. Give me 34-31 WVU. 34-31. And we take the dub, first game of the year, and take that. Also, guys, while we're in here, before I get out here, they have WVU listed at 5.5 wins in Vegas. Take the over. We're making a bowl game at least. We'll win at least 7 games, right? Take the over. Make yourself some money on WVU 5.5. Play the over. But that's all I got for you guys today. If you guys are watching this as a video later on, make sure you guys join us next Thursday, same time, 10 p.m. Eastern, and we will be back with Talking College Hoops podcast. So come join us live. You guys can call in or ask your questions in the chat. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe if you guys are new. A ton of college sports content here on the channel. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming in. See you later.